I went to my local dollar store, picked up a couple of hula hoops, and I painted them gold, and now we're going to create something really unique. I'm going to start by placing the hula hoops one on top of the other, creating a sphere. Now we're going to take a container and a piece of styrofoam and wedge that in. You can find all sorts of florals and containers from nicksseasonaldecor.com. Now we're going to take our hula hoops that we placed one inside of the other and just place it on top of the container. Now I just have some wire. These are left over from some floral stems. I'm just going to take them and bend them into a U shape. And we're going to use these as anchor pins to keep the hula hoop sphere in place. Do the same thing on this side. I'm going to work in one more just to prevent it from slipping out. Now I'm going to take our greenery and work it right into the styrofoam. And I'm also going to give it a slight bend to soften the edge of the container. Now I'm going to take a taller piece and place that right in the center. And all we have to do is just continue filling in. Now we can start working in these blossoms. I'm going to start with one rather tall, right in the middle. And then we can just fill in. And we're going to work in some of these. I think these are perfect for weddings. And honestly, you guys, you can do this in any color combo. Whatever the season is, whatever the holiday is, whatever the occasion is, it is a very easy way of creating a beautiful arrangement. So let's just tuck in a few pieces of these. And here's how it turned out, you guys, and I absolutely love it. It was so easy to do with $2 store hula hoops, a few flowers, and greenery. So honestly, you guys, you can create this for less than $10.
Take a tall and narrow funnel from Amazon. Cut the bottom part of the funnel with an X-Acto blade. Attach the funnel and a Dollar Tree glass candle holder and a decorative mirror with hot glue and adhesive. Take gold metallic spray paint and cover everything attached. Take 2 wood hoops of different sizes, a candle holder from Dollar Tree, and 2 skewers. Cover them with gold spray paint. Take a floral foam cube from Dollar Tree and remove a small sliver in the center with an X-Acto knife and ruler. Once that is complete, prepare the fake florals from Dollar Tree and Michael's Craft Supply. When the funnel piece is dry, take bejeweled ribbon from Dollar Tree and cut it down to cover pieces of the base. Use hot glue to attach it to the seams, the base, along with the candlestick part. Place floral foam in the funnel top. Take the candlestick base and glue it to the rectangular piece of floral foam. Take the wooden hoops and secure within the floral foam. Cut and attach wood skewers to the wood hoops with hot glue. From there, begin attaching the flowers to the hoops and the floral foam. Make sure it is all covered completely.
I've been to the Dollar Tree and I picked up a couple of these wreath forms. Then I picked up some dowels. These are about 30 inches long and they are white. Take off our little tag. Just in case you're interested, these are 9.8 inches, okay? And we're going to use 4 of these dowels. And I want these to be straight across from each other. So I'm going to mark these this way and this way. So we're going to divide our wreath in fourths. Now, the other part that has to be the same is we are going to put these into these, and you want to make sure that like this one is not way out here and on the other one it's way in here. So the way I do that is after lining these up, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to push it all the way down through both of my wreaths. And then I will know where my hole is. I have all 4 of my holes there. And now I'm going to take my little heat tool and I'm going to make all 4 of those holes just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take that. So it's a little bit bigger hole. Like so. And now I'm going to take my dowel and take some hot glue, put it down in the hole. It's okay if it squeezes out, and put the dowel right down into the hole. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. One of the other things that I picked up from Dollar Tree was this plaque. Yep, $1.25. It's not real high quality, as you can see, but it's a plaque and it's got this little hook so you can hang it up. I don't want to hang it up, so I am just going to take my wire cutters and I am going to just pull this little tack and hanger-upper thing right off of there. And I'm going to put it right down in the middle of my wreath, in between those. And I'm going to take the hot glue and put it all the way around the edge to secure it just like that. The next thing I picked up in the crafting corner at Dollar Tree was one of these little pieces of styrofoam. I'm just going to put a whole bunch of glue right there in the middle, and I'm going to stick that piece of styrofoam there in the middle, and now I'm going to let all of this glue dry. So I have my little piece of styrofoam glued onto here. This is all secure, everything is dry. It is time to start adding our flowers. And all I'm going to do is you can push the greenery up if you want, you can just cut it off. And you're going to cut these not terribly long, but on the outside edge you'll want them to be a little longer. So you're just going to take your wire cutters and cut your bushes apart. Cut each rose separately like so. And we're going to go ahead and you're going to start on the outside edge. That one's a little long. You might need to cut them down. And on the outside edge, you're going to poke them in to this styrofoam so that they hide this ring, just like that, okay? And you're just going to go around the bottom, just like that, so that they hide that ring around the bottom. So there we go. And I'm just going to keep working my way right around the circle. And then as we go up, we're going to start going up right above them. And that's going to give you an idea of how it's going to look. And if you see you have any gaps, you can always go back in and add. And if you really want to get fancy about it, you can actually do like an ombre look to your arrangement. And you can always go back later and fill in any holes that you find. But we're just going to keep going around just like that and filling in. When you get it done to this point, looks like it's finished, you're just going to turn it around and see if there's anywhere that you think there's a hole, like right here. I think there's a little bit of a hole. So I'm just going to take this and add another rose anywhere you think that you want another, like right here, maybe there could be one more. There we go. So our arrangement is all finished on the bottom. Now, when we get started on the top, we are not going to be able to poke these into that styrofoam ring. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these right off of the stems. And now that we have cut all of these off, before we put it up on the top, we're going to do the top edge, and we are just going to take the hot glue gun, put some hot glue on these, and kind of put them down on their side, like so. Put some more hot glue on there. And you know I'm going to have to hold it for a minute until it sets. So this is a little time consuming, but you're going to get a lot of wow factor from this project for a fraction of the money that it would cost you to pay somebody else to do this. So this is a great wedding project or big fancy party project. And you can gather friends to help you make these. So you can see that's how the top of this is going to work. And I'm going to continue and finish the top of it. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to put it together and finish it. So here is our top ring where I glued the roses all the way around the top. And then I put a couple of extra ones in the middle and some around the sides, not everywhere, but just to fill in a little bit. And now we're going to turn this upside down. And we're going to take the arrangement piece and we're going to put it upside down on top. And I'm just going to put some glue right around those to secure it. So remember, we've cut these roses off. And I'm just going to put a generous amount of glue on and just stick those roses right on. And you're just going to do that and cover the entire thing. And here is our elevated centerpiece all finished. Of course, when I was finished with this, I thought it was beautiful, but I thought it was missing a little something. So I added these acrylic crystal garlands to it. I just draped them right over the top. They were not from Dollar Tree. I had these on hand from Amazon. Like I said, I just draped them right over the top. You can see I didn't attach them in any other way. You could also put a flameless candle down in the middle of the top right here, or maybe a hanging candles from them. But again, make sure that they are flameless. But other than that, I think this turned out beautiful. And other than the acrylic garlands and the dowels, everything came from Dollar Tree. So I hope you like this project. I think that it turned out just beautiful. And if you have a special event ahead of you, this is really a beautiful project.
Grab a couple plastic planters and bowls. I'm starting with 2 plastic planters. I'm going to place one upside down and then use a really strong glue like E6000. On top of this planter, I'm going to add a bowl. And then we're going to put another bowl upside down on top of that. And then finally a second planter on top. So I'm using just regular acrylic paint. Then I'm going to add some baking soda. This is going to give a matte, chalky finish that looks a little bit like stone. Now I can just use a wide brush and paint this on to the plastic.
Grab some clear vases the next time you're at the dollar store. I'm using 5-minute epoxy to attach them together. To decorate the first stack of vases, I'm going to use some white paint to paint all of the outside glass. For my second stack of glasses, I want to use some alcohol ink to color the glass. Once I have a design I like, I'm going to go ahead and let this dry before adding another layer. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to give it a deeper color. Once this dries, it'll be ready to use.
Grab a waste paper can that has a flat bottom. Spray paint it any color you want, flip the painted trash can upside down, and glue a melamine charger plate. Once secure, apply clear adhesive glue to the perimeter. Center a woven placemat on top of the charger. Pick up a can of gold spray paint, take some scissors, and cut the stems apart from one another. Spread your blooms out and start to lightly spray paint each stem. Glue a couple of the stems to the side of a thin candlestick. Don't glue everything down, as you want some pieces sticking out for a 3D effect. Overspray the entire candlestick with your gold spray paint. Take a glass vase with a curved neck and cut your stem to about the same height as the vase. Hot glue one stem to the vase. Take another stem and hot glue it overlapping the leaves. Cut random leaves from other stems and glue them directly onto the glass.
We're starting with a toilet paper roll, and we are going to cut it down to about half this size. So I'm going to be taking an X-Acto blade. I essentially want to create like a flat piece, and I'm going to go around the inside. I want it to kind of fall here. And so I'm just going to continue to add glue around the surface. So I'm going to take a big heap of this, and we're going to just start layering it on. So we're going to do essentially the same thing, but I'm going to start by over the exposed base of the toilet paper roll. So I let this dry for about 24 hours. I have a sanding block. All right, now that we've sanded this down, we're gonna wipe it off.
So this is the IKEA Sortso rub, and I'm just beginning by folding it in a third. Then I'm going to repeat that on the other side as well. Apply a bead of hot glue, and I'm going to glue one edge down completely, and I'm just going to stuff my pillow, and I'm going to just close up the other end of the pillow.
Next time you are at Walmart, grab a large plastic bowl or pasta bowl and a cereal bowl. Flip the large bowl over and apply a ring of clear adhesive glue around the perimeter of the bowl bottom to secure the two bowls together. Take some decorative rope and hot glue it around the center where the two bowls meet. Fill this bowl with water and add some floating candles. Take 2 woven tissue boxes and some round puck lights with a remote control. Glue the bottom of a puck light to the inside of a tissue box so it is centered over the hole. Run some hot glue around the top of one of the tissue boxes. Flip the other tissue box upside down and attach it to the glued top of the other box. Hang your new sconce on the wall. Grab a can of black spray paint and a roll of rattan webbing. Grab one of those outdoor folding metal tables. Clean it up with cut some paper and tape to the table so only the frame shows. Give the frame a fresh coat of black spray paint and let it dry completely. Outline the top of the table onto the rattan webbing with a Sharpie. Cut out the circle with some sharp scissors. Spray one side of the rattan with some spray adhesive. Spray the top of the table and let it sit for a few seconds until the surface is tacky. Place and press the sticky side of the rattan circle onto the top of the table. Place some heavy books on top of the rattan. Use some sharp scissors to trim the excess rattan from the circle.
I completely transformed this thrifted lampshade into the most beautiful home decor. I removed the shade so it was just the wire frame. I used a utility knife to scrape off the glue. Then I sanded the wire frame with sandpaper and steel wool. I wiped clean and then spray painted it matte black. While it was drying, I sanded a wood round, wiped it clean, and sealed it with gloss spray Varathane. I applied 5 coats and then sprayed the last coat with satin Varathane. I pre-drilled and screwed the wire frame and wood round together.
The next time you're at Dollar Tree, make sure you head to their frame section and grab some of these gold frames. I'm then going to come in with some wire cutters and I'm going to pull out the black tabs that keep the backing on. Then I'm going to take out the glass and I'm going to come with some E6000 and I'm going to glue the glass inside the frame. Then I'm going to come and take 8 of the frames and I'm going to glue 2 of them together. And then I'm going to clamp them together and I'm going to let this set overnight. I came back the next day, removed all my heavy objects that I placed on top, and then as well removed the clamps from all the frames. So I'm going to glue all the sides and then I'm going to just raise them up here and build a rectangular shape. So 2 frames on each end and then the 2 that are glued together for the sides. I'm going to let this set overnight again, making sure that the glue is really solid. And then I'm just going to come in and finish it up with a nice A-frame top with my remaining 4 frames.
Separate the layers of a patterned paper napkin. Cut the paper napkin as needed. Now we are going to actually iron the paper napkin onto the taper. Heat and iron to medium-low heat, not too hot. Take painter's tape and tape off sections on a taper candle. Make sure that the edges are pressed down securely on the edges of the tape. Once taped off, paint light coats of acrylic paint in the open sections of the candle in the color or colors of your choice. Let dry completely. Fill a heat-safe container with hot water between 100 and 110 degrees. Place a taper candle in the hot water and let sit for 10 minutes. Paraffin candle works best for this. After 10 minutes, pull the candle from the water and then wrap the candle in some wax paper. Take a rolling pin and press down on the middle of the candle. Once the middle section is flattened, take the candle and gently twist it into the shape that you want. When you get the twist that you want, place the candle in cold water and this will set the candle in its new shape.
Take 16-inch wood skewers. Start by gluing wood skewers around the inner circumference of one craft hoop. Remove every other skewer to allow for even spacing and add the second hoop to the center of the skewers. Gather all the pointy ends of the skewers and fit them into a 3-inch macrame ring and hot glue in place to secure. Take twine, lace, and ribbon and add it to mask any seams or imperfections from hot gluing. Take a plug-in light fixture kit and thread it through the center of the top of the macrame loop.